Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator of Stampin' Up. I'm just adding an extra camera so you can see me. There we go. Sorry about that. Hi and welcome. As I said, my name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator here with Stampin' Up in New South Wales, Australia. Please jump on and say hello. Let us know who you are and where you're from. It's always great having new people on here. So for the last 5 weeks, I was playing with easel cards, and that has all finished. But all the PDF instructions, tutorials are now up on my blog, and you can go to there anytime to download them. Okay, so today we're just going to make a nice little simple card. No more fun folds for a little while. I just need to take a little bit of a break from them. But we're going to play with a new product. Well, this is not so new. It actually came out with the online exclusives in November. But because of my easel card, study of easel cards, I hadn't got on to playing with any of these new products. So we're going to start today. So let me turn my camera down so I can show you what I've got here on my desk for you. As I said, please jump on, say hello. It's always great to welcome new people on here. Okay, so this one is called, let me just remind myself, hold on one second. It is called the Hobby Haven. Now, it is a suite, and it is found in the online exclusives. And what you get in that suite is the Hobby Haven Designer Series paper. So let me just move all this to one side so I can show it to you. It comes with 2 sheets of die cuts. So they're 2 sheets of die cuts, exactly the same on each sheet. There's 2 there. Just got to be very careful when you take these out of your packaging because they very easily will pop out, as some of these are doing. I will eventually, hopefully, maybe even today, pop these all out, put them into a little cellophane bag, and that will go in then with the Designer Series paper. But these are the Designer Series papers that comes in this suite. So it's all to do with hobbies, basically, whether your hobby is sewing, whether your hobby is relaxing and gardening, whether your hobby is cooking, or going to a spa, reading books. So there's a paper for each one. There's 2 sheets of papers, Design Series paper for each of these designs. And then we have our reverse side. Whoops, pop those back down. That's my die cuts. So let's just flip this over and have a look at the reverse. So you've got this one here, which is blue on blue tones, which I think is a Coastal Cabana. Then we have like a little grid pattern, which is in Petal Pink, Garden Green in a larger type grid or check pattern, plaid pattern. Then you have this one here, which is a wash of, it is, I'm trying to think of the colours, Petal Pink, Lost Lagoon, and the other one in the brown toning ones would be Pecan Pie. But there's lots of colours in this, in the printed side. So you could put quite a few different things with it. And then you have this one here, which again has got all those same colours, as well as Early Espresso in that one. So quite a nice range of papers there. And I'm hoping to do a little bit of scrapbooking with some of these. And let me very delicately move these out of the road. Some lots of fun die cuts there. And I'll pop it back into its sleeve so we don't lose it. Okay, just catching a little bit there on another piece of paper that I have cut down already. There we go, all nice and safe. So that's the designer series paper in that suite. It also comes with a stamp set, which has got some really great bold sentiments. And it also comes with dies. So you have a tag die, or a couple of tag dies in rectangles. You have a, well, it's a rectangle with curved corners, and there you've got an arch, you've got a banner, you've also got a couple of floral pieces, and then you have a couple of pieces which cut out the holes in it. So let me just quickly show you these. Whoops, I've got that. I'll need to flip that around. So there are all our pieces, all our dies there. I've got my banner die because I was using these dies. Now with this one here, when you can use your banner with a hole or not a hole, and you can, if you do want to have a hole in there to make it like a tag, you pop that little piece in there and that will cut it out. And you've got the choice of whether you have a hole or whether you have a slit. So what I've done for today's card is I've cut my banner out and I've popped the hole in there like so. Hello, Kay. Thank you very much for joining us. So that's the dies. And then the stamps I have here are now, because of the new packaging that Stampin' Up have, I've decided to keep mine with my two sheets and just sitting there loose. Some people have stamped on their paper so they can see where they belong, but I'm quite happy with mine like that. So, and I keep both of these together in the same envelope. When they come to you, they will be in two separate envelopes, but I like to keep my dies and my stamps together so that fits in there quite nicely, and that's how I will be storing them. So one of the stamps out of the stamp set is this little one here, which I'll be using today, and I've already got it here mounted on my block. Also in this suite, you have this lovely ribbon, which is in your garden green. It's just like a little chevron pattern. I've got a feeling they called it Greek something. No, it wasn't Greek. I'm not reading things properly. It says garden green. But, I mean, a chevron pattern is very much a Greek type of influence. So that's probably why I thought I saw the word Greek. Okay. Then we also have these elements here, which are your earthy matte dots, which are also part of this particular suite. But, of course, both the ribbon and these elements can be used on any project. Same with the dies, because you have got those tags if you wish to cut tags out for something. So including in that, and I'm just going to take my camera out because I'm going to start, whoops, zoom it right in there. And let's just pop that there like that. So let's bring in what I'm going to be using for today's card. Now, the other product I have used today is the beautiful pattern embossing folder, which is also in the online exclusives, but it does belong to a different suite. But you can buy this individually without having to buy the whole suite. And it's just a it's a 3D embossing folder, so you will need to put this through using your 3D layering, which is using platform 1 and platform 4, but it just gives a nice subtle pattern on your cardstock, and I didn't want anything too strong there. So really it's just a very, very subtle little pattern, and you can see it better on the envelope there. Okay. So I've got my Lost Lagoon, because that was one of the colours that went with this. I've got a card base in Secret Sea. So, and I've cut my card base at 10.5 by 29.9, and I'm scoring it at 14.9. Then I have also, as I said, I've got my mat here. I've also got another piece of Secret Sea, and this is cut at 10.3 by 10 centimetres. And I'm just going to make sure I've got this the right way around. Yep, and that's going to layer up on top of our mat there. But before I put that on, I have got a piece of designer series paper. So what I've done is I've taken the one with the chairs and the garden on it, and I'm using the opposite side, and I'm going to adhere that to my cardstock. So I just want to make sure I've got this all the right way around, because both of these pieces are 10. This one here is 10 by, it's just underneath 10. It's 10 by 9.8 because it was literally a piece of scrap that I had left over. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to adhere these two pieces together and just leave a little bit of the Secret Sea top and bottom. So let's do that first. Excuse me. I'm still fighting this lurgy that I've had for the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to adhere this down onto here. And as I said, it's the same width. Both these pieces are 10 centimetres wide. But my designer series paper is just under 10, and my cardstock, Secret Sea cardstock, is something like 10.2, 10.3. Okay. Then this piece here I'm going to adhere onto my mat, my embossed mat. Won't be much stamping in this, and this is going to have, again, go to edge, and I'm just centering it top and bottom on that mat. So there's quite a few layers in that. Now, I'm going to adhere this now onto my card base, and I have got my card base is at 10.5, as I said before, by your 14.9. And I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue. And of course, if you don't want to use this, you could quite easily use your seal or any other adhesive that you want. I'm not putting this on with dimensionals because my elements I'm going to put on the front is going to have dimensionals on it. And I just wanted to have all of those layered on there. Now, while we're working on our card base, I've got my piece of basic white for my card insert, and I'm just going to insert this inside my card. It's just a fairly simple card, this one. Just give that a good rub just to spread that glue around. So there's our card base all done. Oh, excuse me. So let's do a little bit of stamping, and we're going to stamp our sentiment. Now, I've got my sentiment here. Haven't got it straight on my block. I just plopped it down there before. So I just want to get this nice and straight as I possibly can. mixed it up with my block, and I've got my Secret C ink here. Just remember, when you're using a very fine stamp like this, you don't want to press too heavy into your ink pad, because the sentiment is actually quite fine. And if you press it too heavy into your ink pad, you've got too much ink, and then put it onto your cardstock, it will just spread out. So that is how fine that is. It is very, very fine, and it just says you deserve all the good things. Now I just want to cut this into a strip, so I'm going to grab my guillotine, and I'm just going to grab that. It's just something else moved, and I don't want to lose it. Oh dear, sorry. And I'm going to pop this in here. Now I'm probably going to cut this around about 1 centimetre in width. So I'm going to just judge this a little bit. Stamped it reasonably straight. So let's pop that into there and cut that. Now if you find that you don't have enough cardstock there to handle, you can make like a little handle type thing here, which we can stick on here, same as what you do when you're doing a working with a punch. It's just wanting to curl up on that corner, and I probably need to cut this down a little bit more. Let's just take it a little bit at a time, because if we cut off too much, we can't put it back. So I'm just lining that up with that, and I do want to cut a bit more off the top. So there's our sentiment, just checking it hasn't smudged, and it hasn't, that's just good. I will cut down the width in a minute once I've worked out how wide we're going to need it. But there's our sentiment, and it's just going to go across our card. So, as I said before, I've cut out a tag in basic white, and I've just cut it out with a little hole there. Now, I don't know whether you can see that, but there is a slight impression. That little bar I had to put across the tag leaves a little bit of an impression in your cardstock. So what I have done is I've turned this over, and from the back, I'm just rubbing the back of this very gently with my bone folder, just to smooth out some of those lines. You can also do that from the front, but I think by the time I put all my elements on top of that, you're not going to notice that little bit of indentation. So what I also have done is I've taken one of the die cut pieces from that one of those die cut sheets that came with the paper, but I've also cut out from the designer series paper one of the chairs with the greenery with it, and this was just a little piece left over on the side of the cardstock, and I thought I'm just going to cut that around as well, fussy cut that as well, and I might be able to use that on the card or on another card rather than just throw that away. So that's going to go there as well. So this piece here, I want to adhere this down, but first off what I want to do, because this greenery is quite tall and it is going to cover that hole where I want that ribbon to go. So I'm just having a look at where that is, and I'm probably going to trim down this a little bit. We'll have a look in a minute, but first off what I want to do is grab my ribbon. I'm going to cut around about 15. I might cut it 20 centimetres. It's probably way more than what I need. I'm going to fold that in half, I think. Thread that through. That hole, and I'm taking it from back to front. And then I'm just going to pop those in there like that. And I will eventually cut those down. Now this I'm going to pop on here. Now I've got to work out where I'm going to pop this. Now I was thinking of putting this chair onto some dimensionals. I wanted the tag behind it just to sort of give it a bit of a break from that grid pattern, because the chair is, I mean, that would look okay, but I just felt it was just blending in a little bit too much, and I just wanted to add another little bit of interest in this. Now I could, if I wanted to, bring that down and have that up, but then I think it's going to mess around too much with the ribbon. I think what I might do is that will fit there quite well, but I want to pop some dimensionals on the back of my piece that I've cut, my piece that I've fussy cut. So, moment, I'm going to pop one there. So I might put my dimensionals there as well, but this one here I'm going to probably end up doubling up because it's going to go over the edge of the tag. I've got a cut edge there on the, because this came from the side of the designer series paper. So my flowers are going to cut there on the edge, and I'm going to leave that cut next to that. So I think what I might do is, now quite happy with that, I might just pop another dimensional there. But I'm going to glue this down so we're not getting too much height from our tag. And because I'm not putting anything on the tag, it could also have embossed that, but I didn't want it sort of clashing with the other embossed piece. That can go there, and now I've got that there, I can trim those off, just angling them. Now I might need a couple of little dimensionals, the mini ones, just over here where those pieces are on the side. Take off the backings, except I'm not going to take them off those two, because they're the ones I want to have a look and see if I need to double them up or not. Because I've glued it down, glued the tag down, I probably don't. So I'm just lining up the cut edges there of my flowers and popping that onto there just like that. And I don't think I need to double that up at all. So I'm just going to now very carefully take those two off. Jot that down like that. Now, this is where I was sort of considering, do I add that on there or not? Or is that just going to take too much? So let's have a quick look. We're going to pop our sentiment across there. And I might just grab a pencil and just very quickly mark that there and there. So trim this down a little bit. And trim this side down. That can just be glued there, but I need to put dimensionals on either side. And I'm going to pop 2 on this side, which is going to be over here, and just 1 over on this side, and a little bit of glue in the middle. Don't need too much. So just take those backings off. And then that can just go right across there like so. Now, that is actually quite nice like that. I don't know whether I need that piece. I was sort of thinking of cutting it down a little bit, but I think I might leave him off. But I'm not going to throw him away. That will be kept for another project. And then on the inside here, I'm just going to pop some glue on this piece, just so then it has a little bit of prettiness inside. And that one can go there. So there you go. That's my card for today. Just something really simple. So you like that, Kay? Good. Yeah, just don't want to complicate it too much. Whoops. Sometimes less is more. And, oh, I do know what I need to put on there, which I haven't done, which I was planning to do, is some of these. Always forget the bling because I'm not usually big on bling, but these are matte and I like matte. So let's grab, and I'm just going to use the Lost Lagoon ones. Let's take that out of there. And I'll probably only need just a couple of these. I just want one about there. Another one over there. Just to finish this off. And I'll pop another one just in there, nice and close to that chair. So there we are. So there's my card for today. Just a very simple, and letting the elements that are on the designer series paper work for you. Possibly could just add a glue dot underneath, which I might just do, just to keep that ribbon down a little bit. Not too close to the ribbon. I don't like having things plastered down. I like things to look like they can fly in the wind a little bit. But I just think I might pop one just down here underneath the base of that, just to hold that down. That's better. So it's still got a little bit of movement there, but it's just taking that bulk from that spot away. Yeah, it would make a great card for a male or female, which is good because, I mean, my mum of 4 boys, and you know what? I've got so many girly cards, it's not funny. Thank goodness they're starting to bring girls home. But, yeah, no, it's good to have a card. I had an appointment this morning and I heard some very sad news. So I sort of made this with that news in mind. Someone, was telling someone that to hang on and everything will be okay. So, yeah, you deserve all the good things, and this person deserves all the good things. So, and what's happening right now is not fair. But anyway, that's another story for another time and not really my story to tell. So I'll leave that at that. But thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will try to blog this over the weekend, and I will add all my measurements to that blog. So I hope you've enjoyed that. That was my first play with that particular paper. I'm hoping maybe even to use it for a scrapbook page. So we'll see what happens. Take care. Have a lovely weekend. I hope the weather where you are is nice, Kay. And I'll see you next week, hopefully next Friday at the same time at 1 o'clock. So have a lovely, lovely day, what's left of it, and have a great weekend. Bye for now.